Now is the time to migrate to the latest supported version of Windows Server. Windows Server 2008, 2008 R2, 2012, and 2012 R2 have reached end of life, with Windows Server 2016 end of life coming soon. For non-clustered Hyper-V environments, the migration process is quite easy, provided everything is set up correctly. Here, we will migrate several Hyper-V virtual machines from Windows Server 2016 to Windows Server 2025. For a successful move, we have to check and ensure a few prerequisites. The user account performing the move or migration must be a member of either the local Hyper-V administrators group, the administrators group, or a domain group that belongs to one of those local groups. Ideally, there is an isolated network dedicated to migration traffic. In this case, both servers are connected to a dedicated secondary network used just for migration. Only file and printer share for Microsoft networks and IPv4 or IPv6 bindings are required. Yes, I am using IPv6 with a manually assigned address. The network adapters are configured for jumbo frames with an MTU of 9,014 bytes. Remote direct memory access is enabled for high-speed, low-latency transfers. The Hyper-V servers should have virtual switches with identical names and be connected to the same VLANs, especially when migrating running VMs. When using local attached storage, the file pathing for the virtual machines and storage should preferably be the same, and a configured privileged administrative workstation. From a privileged administrative workstation, open Hyper-V Manager. If not already configured, add your servers that are running the Hyper-V role. On both the source and destination servers, open Hyper-V Settings. Ensure the virtual hard disk and virtual machine paths are the same. For consistency and migration performance, it's better to use a shared network location, such as an SMB share. On both servers, click and expand Live Migrations. Enable incoming and outgoing live migrations and specify the IP address or network in seeded notation of your isolated network adapter. Yes, you're saying that right. I'm using IPv6. However, if you're still scared of the big bad IPv6 monster, you can use IPv4. Under Advanced Features, if possible, leave Use Cred SSP enabled. Depending on your environment, you may need to use Kerberos with constrained delegation. Leave the default number of 2 simultaneous migrations. Open Virtual Switch Manager. Ensure the virtual switches to be migrated have identical names. This is critical for live migrations where the VM must remain powered on during the migration. Although we can use our privileged administrative workstation to perform most of the migration actions, some actions may fail. Therefore, we will RDP into the source Hyper-V server to perform the various migration procedures. Open Hyper-V Manager and add the destination server. Open another instance of Hyper-V Manager so you can see both servers at the same time. Right-click the virtual machine, select Move. At the Choose Move Type section, select Move the Virtual Machine. Enter the name of the target Hyper-V server. Leave the first radio button option selected to move all of the virtual machine files to a single location. Click Browse. Note that this dialog is a remote file browser window displaying the local storage of the remote destination server. Navigate to the destination folder. Be aware that you cannot create a new folder in this window. If you want to create a new folder at the destination server, use either File Explorer and connect to the destination server using the default administrative shares to the local drive, a remote PowerShell session to create a new folder using the new-item commandlet. Refresh the remote file browser window to see the new folders. Select a folder, click Next, followed by Finish. At the destination server, right-click the migrated VM and select Upgrade Configuration Version. Acknowledge the dialog box and click Upgrade. Notice the configuration is now version 12. Right-click the virtual machine and verify the settings. Right-click, Move Type, Virtual Machine, enter Target Hyper-V Server, second radio button. At the Choose Advanced Options section, leave the Move the virtual machine's data automatically radio button selected. This option will choose the appropriate location on the destination computer based on its Hyper-V settings. Click Finish. Upgrade configuration version and check the settings. Right-click, Move Type, Virtual Machine, enter Target Hyper-V Server, second radio button. In the Choose Advanced Options section, select Move the virtual machine's virtual disks to different locations. This will allow us to migrate the .vhdx from local storage to shared storage while moving the virtual machine configuration files to the new server. Select the target locations for each disk and finish. If the target folder is not present, the migration process will create it. Upgrade configuration version and check the settings. Right-click, Move Type, Virtual Machine, enter Target Hyper-V Server, second radio button. At the Choose Advanced Options section, select Move the virtual machine's items to different locations. This process is similar to the previous procedures and is self-explanatory at this point. With a migration, we can move running virtual machines, minimizing downtime. However, this is best performed with virtual machines that have virtual disks on shared storage. With a running virtual machine, select Move the virtual machine. Enter the target Hyper-V server and select Move only the virtual machine. Notice how the virtual machine connection console automatically switched over to the VM that is now up and running on the new server. Wow! However, to upgrade the configuration version, the VM must be powered off. Another migration method is to export and import a virtual machine. This is useful for when a live migration is not possible. And unlike a migration, the virtual machine must be off. Right-click the VM, select Export, and click Browse. You can export the VM to a local folder or drive, a removable drive, or a network share. Here, we are using a network share to ease the transfer. At the destination server, right-click the server's name and select Import Virtual Machine. In the Locate Folder section, click Browse, select the folder with the exported virtual machine, and click Next. At the Choose Import Type, we have three options. For our purpose, we will select Restore the virtual machine because that option most closely mimics a migration action. At the Choose Destination, we'll leave the checkbox unchecked so that the VM is imported into the default configured locations. At Choose Storage Folders, leave the defaults unless you want to place it in a different location. Click Next to verify choices, followed by Finish. Upgrade configuration version, and check the settings. At the old Hyper-V server, delete the exported virtual machine. Of course, PowerShell provides full support for migrating virtual machines. From your privileged administrative workstation, RDP, into your source Hyper-V server. Open an administrative PowerShell session. Get a list of the current virtual machines using get-vm. To migrate a virtual machine to a single location, use the move-vm commandlet specifying the destination host, include storage, and destination storage options. To migrate a virtual machine using the destination host Hyper-V default settings, use move-vm specifying only the destination host and include storage options. And to migrate a live running virtual machine where the VM storage is located on an SMB share that is accessible by both hosts, the only option required is destination host. To export a virtual machine, use the export-vm commandlet, which provides the path option to identify the destination folder. Although we could use remote PS sessions for most operations, some may fail with a permission denied error due to delegation constraints. Therefore, it may be better, in some cases, to RDP into the new Hyper-V 2025 server. Open an administrative terminal or PowerShell session. Use the import-vm commandlet to import the exported virtual machines. Note that importing a VM requires specifying the full path to its VM configuration.vmcx file. Type get-vm to see the basic status of the migrated virtual machines. Notice the VM number is version 8. If the VMs are migrated from Hyper-V 2019, the version may reflect 9. Upgrade the configuration version using update-vm version. One of PowerShell's strengths is its ability to batch update all eligible VMs using a simple loop. Following the update, check again with get-vm. To get the virtual disk, pipe the command to the get-vm hard disk drive commandlet. If migrating virtual machines from Windows Server 2012 R2 to Windows Server 2025 or 2022, you have to use an intermediate Windows Server 2016 or Windows Server 2019, since Server 2025 and 2022 only support Hyper-V host version 8 or greater. The Hyper-V host for Windows Server 2012 R2 virtual machines is version 5. For this scenario, import the Server 2012 R2 VMs into Server 2016. Using Hyper-V Manager, upgrade the configuration to version 8 or version 9 if using Server 2019 as an intermediate. Then, complete the migration by importing the VMs from Server 2016 or 2019 into Server 2025. As mentioned earlier, you may need to use Kerberos with constrained delegation. From your Privileged Administrative Workstation, open Active Directory Users and Computers. On each Hyper-V server, open Properties and click the Delegation tab. Select the Trust this computer for delegation to the specified services only and use any authentication protocol radio buttons. If you select Kerberos only, you probably cannot use the Hyper-V Manager in your PAW to perform migrations. You would have to initiate the migration from the source server. Click Add, followed by Users or Computers. Enter the other Hyper-V's server name. Holding down the Control key, select CIFS and Microsoft Virtual System Migration Service. Click OK. Click Apply, followed by OK to close the Properties window. You can check the constrained delegation via PowerShell using the get-ad computer commandlet. For the Kerberos constrained delegation changes to take effect, you may need to restart your Hyper-V servers so that they are issued a new Kerberos ticket. I hope you enjoyed this video, found it helpful and informative. If you have feedback, corrections, or suggestions, please share them in the comments below. Please like, subscribe, and share this video with others. Thank you for watching. I truly appreciate it.